So thank you very much for taking part in tonight, and thanks so much for being part of the leadership program. So just while we wait for everybody to join, can you just share with us, Jonno, why you felt you wanted to be part of the leadership program, particularly as a mentor? Or
yeah, I mean, I guess I was at Hillbead from 2006 to 2009, and one of my good friends, Tim Davey, was joined the program earlier this year. I think maybe late last year, has told me about it, and it was really interesting to me, as I feel that sort of my career so far is not really what I did at uni, but it was because I was open to so many opportunities, and the connections I've made at uni, school, sports teams have opened so many doors for me, and using LinkedIn has been a key part of that as well. So I just wanted to spread that, to give some of that knowledge back to graduates who may be going down the same path as me in the near future.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. And tonight you're going to be doing a really interesting, because I've seen your slides, presentation on LinkedIn, and I guess showing us how it works as both a networking tool, but also sort of a recruitment tool and a marketing tool. So yeah. Can you just give us a briefing of what you're going to go through?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess at a time when unemployment levels are rising, making use of your network is going to be more important than ever before. And certainly in my professional career for the last 10 years, I've found that my network's been pivotal to every career choice I've made. I mean, I started off as a sports agent for the likes of Elliot Daly, Johnny Bairstow. I then moved to Dubai and started selling villas there, and then I moved back to London and got into tech sales, first at Cyberease and now at LinkedIn. And all of these opportunities came about due to the connections I made at university, at school, and in various sports teams over the years. So a bit of background on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network. 690 million people are on it. 3 people join every second. 50 million companies. Millions of live jobs are on there across the world, and we're in pretty much every country in the world. It was founded in 2003, and I mean, opportunity. The sort of mission statement of LinkedIn is to create opportunity for every individual in the world. Now, opportunity is different depending on who you are, but specifically for Durham, I thought you guys may find this interesting. There are 7,900 people on LinkedIn who are going to graduate either this year or next from Durham, which is a huge number. And 25 future Durham graduates are joining LinkedIn every day. So multiply that by all the rest of the unis in the UK as well. There's a lot of people on this platform, and I guess today I want to make sure that you guys set your LinkedIns up, know how to use it, know how to do certain things on it to make sure you guys are putting your best foot forward when the time comes that you're going to be looking for opportunity, whether that opportunity is looking for a new role or looking just to connect with people, or maybe you're in a job and you're looking to find people to do business with. There's so many opportunities on LinkedIn to do that, and I want to make sure you guys all have your right foot forwards. So any questions on that sort of before we move on? Cool. So this is briefly what we're going to do today. Bit of LinkedIn knowledge that we've just done. Why LinkedIn? And then we're going to go into your profile, some tips around building your profile to make sure you come up in searches, make sure you're seen in the best possible light, stuff that you can do beyond LinkedIn, and then a few questions at the end. Why LinkedIn? I mean, LinkedIn, as I said, can have many different things, but ultimately what our value is to connect to opportunity. And I mean, whatever that means to you, it can mean different things. It means get a job, build your professional identity, learn new skills, connect with other people who can help you out. So many different ways to find opportunity on LinkedIn. Interesting stat for you. 50% of hires globally generally come from the result of a personal connection. As I said earlier, I mean, none of my roles that I've had in my career have come without knowing someone at the business and finding a way in through that and asking them about the business and eventually finding myself in seat there. Also, LinkedIn members are 4 times more likely to get hired when they're referred into a role by someone who's already there. So these networks that you guys are building while you're at uni, while you've been at school, in your sports teams, are going to be incredibly valuable for you going on through life. And then this is sort of out now, sort of everyone has a network, and while you may not realize it, every time you meet new friends or co-workers through any social activity, you're adding new connections. And then on LinkedIn, you have second degree connections as well. So friends of friends, people who those people know. Your first degree connections could maybe put you in touch with one of their friends who works in a field that you maybe want to get into or has similar interests to you. And then you have third degree connections even further. So there's all sorts of ways that you can connect to people and leverage your network in order to create opportunity for yourself. And it all starts with your LinkedIn profile. So your profile is a sort of digital representation of you. It's not a CV. It adapts and changes, and it sort of tells your story. So from the show of hands earlier, the majority of you already have a LinkedIn profile, but make sure you have a good photo. Members with a photo, it doesn't need to be professional, but it needs to sum you up. And if you have a photo, you get 9 times more connection requests, 21 times more profile views, and you're going to get a load more messages. Next bit is the industry. Now, all of this I'm going to be sending this presentation across to you guys after, so you don't need to make notes or anything. You'll have all these slides after. Make sure you put in what industry you want to work into. It's how others will find you. So it'll mean you have 9 times more profile views generally. So if someone, let's say, I think I was speaking earlier about this, you may not think that having LinkedIn is an important thing at university, but I'm speaking to companies daily who are spending money to advertise to people like yourselves who are going to be graduating in the next couple of years, because they know when you guys graduate from uni, you're going to be able to choose where you want to work. And they want to make sure that in your last 2 years of uni, you know about their brand. There's the thing about having to have touch points in marketing, and someone only becomes affiliated to a brand after 9 or 10 touch points. So subliminally, they're going to be selling to you so that when you leave university, you're going to want to work for them. So make sure you put the industry that you're wanting to work in. You can select up to 3 industries. And make sure you put the right one in there, because that will be the right people reaching out to you. Now, your summary, this is basically like your elevator pitch. So it should be an introduction, written in the first person, highlight any unique talents, and if you keep it long, over 40 characters, you're going to come up, the LinkedIn algorithms will push you out more to employers rather than people with under 40 characters. So all these little sort of tweaks that you can make to your profile, adding more industries, getting a better photo, and making sure you have more than 40 words in the summary. These are things that the LinkedIn algorithm is going to take into account when it's pushing people out to potential employers. Next thing is your work experience. So this is time to tell about your professional accomplishments within each of the roles you've had. Give a brief description of what you've done. I mean, for you guys, it would be Durham University, some of the things you've done. This is another chance for you to talk about what you did and showcase the impact you had at university. So that as I said, there's 7,900 people on LinkedIn graduating from Durham in the next 2 years. Why are you different? What makes you guys different? And add some examples, dissertations, snippets of dissertations. Make it visually appealing. Again, give people more reasons to spend a longer time on your profile. The longer someone spends on your profile, the more likely they're going to reach out to you. Make sure it's quite simple, really. It doesn't even have to be your own. It can be stuff that you like, stuff that resonates with you, just make it relevant to think about who's going to be looking at it and make it relevant to them. And this is an interesting one that I only sort of found out about recently, that people who have volunteer experience get 6 times more profile views than those without. So think back, anything you've done at university, put it in there. Pretty much half of all hiring managers, this is a stat I'm reading now, say they view volunteer experience as equivalent to formal work experience. So yeah, if you've been a volunteer, if you've done anything like that, get it on there. It's very valuable. And lastly, add skills, get endorsed. I work with a lot of recruitment companies who search via skills for profiles. They won't search for anything except they'll put in keywords, maybe financial analysis one here, and then they'll search for a region of the country, and that's all that will come up. If you have it on your profile, you'll come up in their search. For someone who doesn't have it, they won't come up on the search, they won't get the call, they won't make them get the message. Put in all the skills that you have, all the skills you want, all the skills you're going to be looking to develop in your career. You will come up in plenty more searches, you will be getting those messages, you will be getting those connection requests. I've seen it myself. I know how recruiters search for people, how corporate businesses search for their next employees. And it's the more stuff that's on your profile, the more keywords on there, the better. And this is the stuff where you request recommendations from people, from your lecturers, from parents, best friends who work in different industries. Get your recommendations on there. They really help you build credibility. Someone might know them who's looking at it. Someone might be a second, third request to one of your recommendors. This is a huge part. It doesn't take a lot to ask, but it can add a huge lot of value to you. And then stuff like location and education, obviously, make sure you fill it all out. Fill out all the boxes.
Come in here quickly. So just for our students, particularly, let's say that those that have been on the Leadership Academy this year, if they'd put Leadership Academy or even linked their mentors, yeah, that would have, again, accentuated their profile, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So Leadership Academy, get it in your volunteer experience. Mentors, get your mentors who are working somewhere to write a recommendation for you. All these things, you'll be amazing as you saw that sort of first, second, third degree connections, how many second degree connections people may have with your mentor for working for certain companies, and how just having little things on your profile can get you a long way.
Yeah, well, and how highly would you say sort of adding your sport and your position, so club captain or society president, and where would that sit?
Hugely. I mean, I think it's obviously getting someone on the page, having the picture, having the description, having the right stuff there, so people know they're looking at someone who's going to be realistic for what they're looking for. But then ultimately it comes down to relationships. If someone resonates with what you've done, they can see themselves in you, they're going to be more likely to reach out. So put down all of your achievements, put down the stuff you want to achieve. It's all relevant, and it will all help.
I've got a couple of questions. Do you want to leave these till the end? Sort of, how do you ask for recommendations?
So if you go on your LinkedIn profile, there is the section for recommendations. If you look, there's a little box here that says ask for a recommendation. And you can just click there, and then you have to search for the person on LinkedIn. So they'll have to have a LinkedIn profile, and it will send them a message. You can personalize a message to them.
And a couple of other questions that have come up. So would you put your sports, society, exec positions in volunteering or in work experience?
As a student, I'll probably put it in both at the start. Put it in volunteering so that the algorithm picks it up, and put it in the work experience as well as a student. And then as you move into sort of further down your career, just leave it in the sort of volunteer experience. So what else can we use LinkedIn for? As I said, it's sort of, this is about understanding how to follow companies, influencers, know how to customize your feed so that it's relevant to you. I mean, LinkedIn is it's not just like a job search engine. It's a social media tool as well. I mean, it's all big companies are on it. All CEOs are writing stuff and posting articles on it every day. 31 million people visit LinkedIn jobs every week. And the job side obviously is where it all started out, connecting people to opportunity. So you can filter by as many sort of custom filters as you want for jobs and be as niche as you want. Keywords, you could just put in, as I said, when people are looking for your profile, people will put in one keyword and an area and look it up. You can do that with jobs. You can put in, let's say you're doing a dissertation on artificial intelligence. You could put artificial intelligence in London and it would come up with all the jobs that have artificial intelligence in the job description in London. You could look at jobs that are posted, sort the jobs by the ones that are posted most recently. I've seen lots in the last few months that companies have left up jobs that were posted 4 or 5 months ago, and clearly a lot of them aren't relevant anymore. But if you see companies who posted jobs last week, that's probably that they're still hiring and they still have positions to fill during all of this. So they're probably a good place to start with reaching out to. There's all sorts of ways you can search, and it's pretty easy to maneuver around. You can also create alerts, daily alerts via emails and notifications in your LinkedIn profile. I would set these up probably weekly. Daily maybe a bit much, but as I said, let's say you're looking for artificial intelligence roles in London, set it up so that every week on a Sunday, you'll get an email from LinkedIn with all the new jobs that have been posted. Then you can be one of the first applicants. First one in is always going to probably have more of a chance than the last one in. So set up these search alerts, get it working for you. You don't want to be logging onto it every day, but have it push jobs to you every Sunday that you can then go through. And then use it to gain knowledge. I mean, especially during the last few months, we've seen conversations on the platform skyrocket to new levels. I mean, more people visit LinkedIn on a daily basis to get news than visit the Guardian website. It's a global news platform. You can follow companies, you can follow your favorite reporters. The majority of these people are posting on LinkedIn. And so you can set up a feed that is not like a Twitter, but it's more professional feed that will educate you. You can also follow influencers, CEOs, Bill Gates, the example here. As I mentioned, reporters, whatever you want to follow, they're probably all on here. And then you can also, as I mentioned about editing your feed, go into the type of three dots in the top right corner, improve your feed, unfollow people, make sure things that prioritize to the top that you want to see. And it's on mobile. You can look at these stuff when you're on your way to lectures, on your way to work, whatever. And this was what I saw the other day from the Google CEO, Sundar Pichai. He wrote this, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, to all 2020 graduating classes. Be open, be impatient, be hopeful. And that resonated with me, and was funny that I was doing this. So I thought you guys may like to see that. And that is the end of really the slides that I put together, but I wanted to sort of have a discussion around anything you guys want to ask, any questions you have, anything I can answer. If I can't answer it, I'll make a note of it and I'll send you guys a message and answer it over the next few days. Please all connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, any more questions, Chantel, or anything?
Yeah, hi. I'm just interested in understanding what form of communication is best to use on LinkedIn, and where we should add detail, or where, for example, we should keep it quite brief and then kind of just make employers or whoever curious to then get in touch with us, and then to provide them with further detail, and how to find that balance to use the right form of communication.
Yeah, good question. I think sort of passive communication, putting stuff up, putting up the work you've done regularly, posting on your feed and things like that is always, if someone then connects with you, they're going to see what you've been writing, see what you've been liking. They're going to know the sort of person you are. That's stuff to do in the background. But when you're reaching out, yeah, be direct. Send them a connection request with a message. I am connecting with you because I can see we have so and so in common, or I can see you work in this field. I'm graduating from this. This is what I've done. I'd really appreciate 5 minutes of your time. And if you phrase it in the right way, and it's not just sort of take, please give me this because I deserve it, the majority of people will give you some time and want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully my Wi-Fi connection holds up. I was kind of wondering how, like, whether you should just add everybody you think would be sort of useful as a link, and because you get a lot of people asking questions, adding you who you don't really know, and then it's like, do you add everybody or just people you've interacted?
No, I'm sort of the thing, you should just add people who you've interacted with or who you have a connection to. If you want to then add someone who's a second degree connection, ask for someone to introduce you. You can have 3-way messages on LinkedIn. If you have a connection and you want to get connected to one of their connections, ask your connection to set up a conversation for the 3 of you, and then you can add them. I think it's because as soon as you become a connection with someone, you then see all their activity on the platform. So you want to make sure that the people you're connected to are people who are relevant and people who you've actually interacted with. Otherwise, it's down the line, it's just going to get chaotic.
Jonathan, hi. Thanks for the talk. I study Arabic and I'm sort of finishing this summer. I have a question about, I think fake news is such a massive topic in news at the moment with all sorts of social medias. Is this something you'll find at LinkedIn and sort of you having to move towards like a fact checking type thing with people claiming random things on their LinkedIn profile?
I don't think it's really as big an issue as places like as other social media platforms. I mean, on LinkedIn, you've got to realize what you put on there, what you write on there is probably going to be seen by your future employer, your ex-employer, people who you went to university with. It's not a place to hide. So I don't think fake news is as sort of as big an issue on other social media platforms. Obviously, there is probably still an issue, but it's not something that I've seen as a massive issue myself.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
I'm wondering, I feel like sometimes I get like lots of messages on LinkedIn that feels just like a blanket thing that they've sent to like graduates. And I was just wondering how you can tell if they're being serious and they're seriously interested in you, or if they're just shooting out like 200 messages for the sake of it.
I think it's hard to tell. A lot of recruiters will do that. A lot of bad recruiters will do that. I deal with a lot every day who you can message up to 25 people at one time with one message. So they definitely do take advantage of that. But then we have stuff to stop spamming on the platform as well. So if someone gets less than 2 responses out of 10, they get blocked over a 2-week period. So we have things like that to stop spamming. So it's hard to say, is there telltale signs to look out for? I just ask them, I guess. I guess you can sort of tell by how much, if they put your name in it, if they write hi there rather than hi Amber, if it's relevant to you at all. Sometimes you just get some hi there, something completely that doesn't involve you at all, and it's pretty obvious. Yeah, I think you just have to sort of trial and error, really.
So I just wanted to know, so in regards to your LinkedIn profile, it previously stacked up a lot of experience in a very specific field, but you're now considering something else in your career. Would you have any advice on how to tailor your LinkedIn profile? Yeah,
I mean, I think all the experience you've built up is going to put you in good stead going forwards with stuff that you've had in the past. Tailoring your LinkedIn profile, the summary, I put it in there. Put in the summary is the first thing people see. As I said, that's your elevator pitch, but make sure you have all the other details still under the jobs that you previously had. So put your summary. I've got this experience. I've excelled in this, but I am looking to move into this, and this is why. This is what I think is transferable. This is what I want to get it. What I want to do. Put the stuff in the summary there, and maybe change the industries to the ones that you want to go to. As I said, you come up in searches based on industries, keywords in your profile.
Okay.
So if you're looking to move completely separate industries, try and change the industries maybe.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm just wanting to understand. So, Jonno, there's been lots of questions, there's been lots of observations, but I guess it's, for me, if I had to help anyone, if I was mentoring any of these students and said, what would be the key words? So I guess it's all about how you link those words and how people search those words. So I always say, try and caution on, don't just say captain of rugby or head of music society. Is it the skills that go with it? So
yeah,
would you put in,
you know, think how someone, yeah, look up like a job description for a job that you really want to go for. Look at the keywords they use in that job description, find the ones that are relevant, and make sure that you have them on your profile, because people are going to be searching from what's on job descriptions, looking for people like that. So things like that. Look at people who you aspire to be, CEOs, directors who you aspire to want to be like, and look at what they have on their profile. Reuse some stuff that they have. Start conversations with people on the platform. Someone posts something, comment on it. Try and engage people. It's as I said, it's a social network as well. So be engaging, be open to conversations.
Yeah, just a couple of ideas, really just reacting to stuff that Jonno said. Two thoughts have occurred to me. I remember back to when I was doing a job search after my MBA, and found that people in industry are really keen to find out what's going on, the latest research, and they get bombarded with research from all points of the compass. Durham clearly has got a massive brand, and so if you can shamelessly name drop that, they'll know that you come from Durham clearly because of your LinkedIn profile. But if you can find out anything that would constitute Durham's point of view, and by that I mean either published theses, lecturers, perspectives, any published papers, it's a really useful trigger point to have a conversation by saying, I've read this in our research libraries and I'd like to discuss that with you. So you've got a hook there to get people's interest. I think that's quite important. And it means that you're giving something. And Jonno earlier on talked about trying to avoid that take. If you come bearing gifts, then you're likely to get a better reception. The other point I just wanted to flag up, somebody told me about there are these CV comparison websites you can use for free, and what you do is you get a job spec and you paste in the job spec on one window and you put your CV on another, and it will do a match. Now, clearly you're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage without lots of work experience. But the key benefit you can pull out of these things is that you can identify what the keywords are within the job spec, because it'll tell you you're missing, I don't know, commercial leadership or whatever these things are. I'll say, you know, you've got a 0 out of 10 match, and these are all the things you're missing. But actually, that's what you want. You want those keywords out so you know how to load your own CV, or you know what the employer is potentially looking for. And I can go and dig out a CV comparison website I used to use quite a lot, which is quite good. I think you got about 5 free goes a month or something like that. But there are plenty of them out there, so I would recommend you go and have a look at those things. Just Google them, and you'll find them, I'm sure. That's it for now, Chantal.
Thank you, Jonno. Just to on that, I mean, is there anything you can expand on that, or just discussions around that, and any questions?
No, I mean, I think it's keywords. It's being active, as Rupert mentioned, about commenting on things, sharing articles. If you see an article, comment on it. If you see something interesting, put it onto LinkedIn as a post and say why you found it interesting. If you're connected to someone, they're going to see it. The more time, as I said, the more touch points, the more times people see your name pop up, the more you're going to stick in their head. So be active on it. comment on things, like things, be present.
So, for example, if it wasn't LinkedIn, you could sort of put the post of you in LinkedIn, say, I was listening to this last night.
Yeah.
On it were the following people, and you could put, let's say, Rupert and Christine, whatever, and that links to them. And would you say that's the
so I mean, so you take a picture of this, you say, I was on a thing with Jonno, Chantel, Rupert. If we like it, it then goes to all of our connections. One of our connections may be looking for a graduate in whatever you're doing. They suddenly see that. That's how sort of LinkedIn works. It's a snowball effect like that. But if you don't put out content, it's not going to get seen. So
can I just add that it doesn't need to be a huge essay, literally just a one-liner, so long as it's got that angle that's of interest. I saw this and thought it was interesting because that's sometimes all you need.
Yeah. And Jonno, I think we've mentioned as well language, but just take us, would you always err to be a little bit more with professional language or conversation?
Yeah, but I mean, I also think like be yourself. I mean, people buy into people. People buy into people's oddities and people's like people being weird. I mean, if you're not yourself, you're going to get found out. So I think if write how you would normally write, but do remember that, as I said, it is where your future employer is going to be looking. People will see this. So yeah, just be clever, but be yourself. Don't try and be someone you're not.
Again, go hunting for the Platinets who are in your area of interest. Get talking to them because it's a very easy connection to make. And there's a huge network out there. So again, shamelessly use the brand. Yeah.
I mean, you can search for people by put in Durham University, put in a keyword, boom, find who you want to speak to.
So, Jonno, just take us through, okay, not what your profile is now, but if you had to go back to your days when you were in Durham,
yeah,
what would you personally have put in your profile now? Because you said you played so many different sports, you did something. Give us some keywords you would have put in your profile.
So like motivated, driven, social, stuff about sports and achievements that you've done in the past. Everyone likes those achievements and people can relate to it. So if you say, you might find someone who's had the same achievements in their life. But I'm trying to think I don't think I had a LinkedIn when I graduated. But what else would I have put in? Work experience, all my work experience I had through uni and from when I was 16, I would have put on it, because little skills, someone sees that you've been working in a job since you were in a retail job since you were 15, shows you have the drive and the get up and go and the sort of people skills that someone may not have if they've never had a job before. And it's these little things that could put you slightly ahead of someone else. So just try and put as much detail on there as possible.
Okay, and linking obviously to your college as well. So that would be, I know you said university, but even college would also be a connection, correct?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, because you could probably search for keywords for your college and go even one further, rather than people who've gone to Durham, look for people who are at Hillbead or Collingwood.
Okay, or played football or whatever. Okay?
Yeah.
I have one more question regarding, to me, it seems like LinkedIn is in a way an approach to kind of move beyond the traditional CV and therefore kind of be slightly less conventional.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, there's still a certain structure and many elements are similar to a CV. And at the same time, I'm noticing that people are getting very, very creative with how they present themselves and have a very fancy CV or do it in a form of a video. And if you have any advice on where we should just keep it simple and stick to the general rules, and where you would suggest to think more creatively to really stand out and do it different.
I think the good thing with LinkedIn is that it's digital. It's something you can trial something and change it the very next day. It doesn't need, you're not sending out CVs that are then never editable again. So I think it's try if you think you can try something creative, try it out, see how it works. You can always move it back, you can change it straight away. That's the great thing about the fact that it's a digital representation of yourself and of your experience. And as I said, it's about you being you. If you are a creative person, you have something you want to try, put it on there. Why not?
And would you say, because one thing I've noticed is that there's a trend that that people are getting more personal on LinkedIn, whereas initially they were very professional and distant. So what would you say is the general atmosphere, I don't know a better word, in LinkedIn, and what are people starting to really like, and where is the community not yet ready to kind of accept a slightly unconventional way of talking or presenting yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I started to see a lot more like blogs and first person sort of updates and everything like that, and it goes down very well. Videos get a lot of views on LinkedIn. People watch videos, make short videos. People watch them. People click on them. I don't have stats around what works best and what doesn't. I can have a look and see if we have any updated information on that around. I'll write that down now, Carolina, and try and have a look and see what's been working well sort of in 2020.
Yeah, no, great, thank you.
I'm Teresa, I'm from CUFS and I study English, Politics and Philosophy. If your club or society has its own LinkedIn, how would you make use of it?
What, are you going to be writing as the society?
Yes, well, the club has its own LinkedIn page.
Yeah, so I mean, they can post, connect with people, get the brand out there. I mean, post as the society with photos of what they're up to, updates with what their members are doing now, try and connect people in the society with people from the society. So again, it's like reaching out to people who were in the society 3-4 years ago, connecting them. They may not know that the club has a LinkedIn page now. Connect them and it creates opportunity for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Is that right? Does that answer the question?
Yes, because it had been made and I was being told that we should ignore it, but I thought there's surely some use for it.
Well, I mean, if you have the power to use it and set it up and start messaging people and start the connections for it, I mean, that's a huge string to your bow as well. I mean, if you're the person running that, so why not take control of it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks so much for joining, and keep safe, keep in contact with each other. Remember who was on this call and listen to what Jonno said about linking. Thank you very much.